and welcome to my next tutorial. Nice to see all the Tinker lads out there, and I'm glad you're here. Obviously, if you're looking at the screen, you see that we are going to be working on Baby Yoda, or Grogu if you want to be very specific and accurate. So don't forget, right now, take some time to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll know when I release the next video. Today, we're going to start off with the head. All right, let's look at the dimensions here. Obviously, it's just a sphere, but it's 27 by 34. So let's go ahead and do that right now. 37, and I believe it said 24. Now, I'm rounding. I'm not sure if you saw the numbers here, but 27.22 and 34.03. Let's just get one more dimension here, and that's the Z direction. Z, that's 25.3. So I'll just put 25.3 here, and let's change the color. I was debating which color to use, but I think this one may not be as accurate, but it's really cute. So I'm just going to raise that up. I think it said 32 right there. Let me see if I can hide. Yeah, 32. I'm not sure that's exactly what it is. In fact, let me just move it up a little bit more. Right about there. Okay. So there it is. The head. Not too complicated. Again, the numbers. 24, 37, and 25.3. All right, great. Let me just check that over here. Okay, great. Let's move on. Now, let me show you what I'm doing here. I'm going to click on the letter T after clicking on his head. That way you can see what else is going on here. Essentially, his face also has two smaller spheres because I'm trying to make the Baby Yoda look babyish by adding some more weight to its cheeks. So let me duplicate this, that way you can see what's going on here. So it's another sphere. I'm going to duplicate this one, Control D. There it is. And I'm going to rotate this. Actually, let me undo this so that you can actually see this a little bit better. Let's focus on that. Let's look at the front. There it is. All right, so I'm going to rotate this so that it's very similar to the angle there. You see this angle here and there. That's pretty similar. Now let's get the same dimensions. It's 22 by 20. So let's put this as 22 by 20. Now, I'm going to check the height again. 20.2. That's nice. 20.2. There it is. As you can see, they're not exactly the same. So I'm going to rotate this back over some. And then the height, that's pretty close. And what I was going to say earlier was that these things do not have to be perfect, because I have had several models that I have finished, and I show my son, my older son, and he'll say, "Dad, that doesn't look like the the model that's supposed to look like." Sometimes you'll use the word trash, which is not very nice. Okay, right now I want to move this, but I'm not sure if you noticed that when I hit the arrow key to move it back, it moves a lot. So snap grid to the rescue. I'm going to make my movement smaller. Now I'm going to use the arrow key to move it back. That's better. All right. Now let's focus on both of them at the same time. Let's zoom in the middle. Now, I personally right now do not like the way this looks. Okay, already. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to make this a little bit fatter and just make this stick out a little bit more over here. And when I was making this, I remember having to do this with the original model too, because there's a certain look that it has that you're like, hey, that doesn't look like Baby Yoda, so let me go ahead and mess with it so I get the look that I want. And I did have to mess with it a lot. So I'm going to select this again, I guess my right, its left cheek. I'm going to duplicate it. And then I'm going to use the mirror tool right here. And there it is. Now I'm going to use the arrow key, my arrows on here. And I'm just going to try to make it symmetrical. Now, symmetrical just means it's the same on one side as it is in the other. So let me see how close I got it. This line right here, let me click focus and then front. There it is. As you can see, this is the center line, but this one right here is too close to the right. So I'm going to move it over a little bit. That's better, just a little bit more. Okay, now it's somewhat symmetrical. Symmetrical, one more time. All right, that is not bad, but I think we'll reserve the right to work on this later, this part right here, because once you're finished with everything, you're going to want to mess with it. So let's go ahead, have them, oops, I thought I clicked away. Right there. All right, I'm going to zoom into the middle so I can see both faces. Now this right here is a sphere. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to make it black. Pretty obvious, right? Black. Move it up and then shrink it down. And then I'm going to use the arrow key. Looks like downward. Now mind you, these arrow keys, if you're looking at it from a different angle, you're going to use a different arrow key. I know the arrows will adjust what they can do based on the position of the thing you're trying to move. So if I say use this arrow but you're facing the wrong way, it's not going to work for you. So let's go ahead and move this forward. I'm going to use this arrow here. Kind of weird looking. All right. And tell you what, let's work on the eye. So this sphere is essentially 10. Is it 10 by 10? Yeah, it's 10 all the way around. I'm not sure if I'll keep the size because when I'm done, I'm going to adjust it. That's just the way it works, right? So this eyelid here, which the first time I used it, wow, was it irritating. I just could not get it. It made it look like an old man. Just FYI, be careful because eyelids tend to make people look old when you can see them. So I'm using the arrow key again in case you didn't see that. And it should be sticking out there and a little bit there. And all right, let's go up a little bit. Obviously, this one's much thinner. So I'm going to move that one down. And I'm going to hit shift in there. Okay, a little bit there. Now, this one is at an angle. So let's rotate it. And then I'm going to move it with the arrow key. Move it up a little bit. I want the angle to change a lot more than this. That's better. Now I'm going to click on it again and move it back. And then to the right. I'm going to change the angle this way just a little bit so it's not saying old man to me, because that's what it says to me, by the way, in case you're wondering. I am an old man. But I'm okay with it. I've accepted who I am. All right. That kind of an oval shape, I'm not liking it. I'm going to move the eyeball a little bit to the right a little bit. Okay. I'm okay with that. Now I'm going to do the same thing, only I need to put it underneath here. Now, here's the thing. Grogu, or Baby Yoda, I'm duplicating this right here. Okay, that way you know what I'm doing. And then I'm going to mirror it going down. Now I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to move it down. Okay. And then move forward with the arrow key. So what I was saying is, Grogu actually looks like a little old man. I mean, he's cute. Yes, definitely cute. But he looks like an old man. So if you happen to create a model that happens to look like an old man, well, then you're actually pretty accurate. So I rotated there, but I did not like the way that looks. This is a little bit better. Move the arrow key there. Maybe make it a little bit wider. Okay, that's not bad. The eyeball, I'm not liking this too much. I'm going to hit shift. Oh, wait, not shift. I'm just going to move it down because I like the way it looked when it was squeezed. Right there. That's pretty good. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Move it down. All right. Not exactly the same look as this one, but I'm liking it. So I'm just going to keep it for right now. Okay, we can change all this much later, but in terms of eyeball, I did put some brown on this one. I'm not sure I'll be doing that again, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select these three things: the eyelid, the eye, and the bottom part of the eyelid. I'm going to duplicate with Control D, Then I want to move it all over here. I guess it would be better if I just mirrored it. Let's see, there it is. And mirror will just create it's just going to rotate this in a way that makes it look like, it actually belongs there. And already, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but the eyelids here are much longer over here. So I'm just going to move this over a little bit and then move it forward. Move it over. This one too. I'm going to make it longer and then move it over. All right, that's not bad. But then again, we haven't even started yet. Now, a lot of this other stuff here is going to be what I like to think of as the donut, but it's actually a torus. I know. Who thinks of it as a torus, right? I'm going to change it so that it's much smoother by changing how many sides it has. In fact, let's focus so you can see what I'm doing here. It looks kind of, a lot of straight angles. So what I'm going to do, the angles have been shortened so that it looks, more like a rounded edge versus a bunch of straight lines. Now with this torus, we're going to be doing a lot to manipulate Grogu's face, because I want you to notice there's a lot of what would you call this? Bumps, and to get that effect, we're going to be using a lot of bumps using this thing. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the upper part. Actually, let's create the chin. So I'm going to rotate this. I know that looks really funny. Looks like Cubert to me now. For those of you that are old enough to know what Cubert is, good for you. You're awesome. If you don't know what Cubert is, I guess you're fine. Now it looks like some sort of fly. All right, let's take a look, compare the two. All right, I'm trying to create the chin, which is under here. And I think I need to flatten it a little bit more. And maybe change the angle. And then flatten some more. And again, all I'm doing is I'm looking at it and saying, what do I like this? Do I not like that? I think I flattened it too much. Let me make it a little bit bigger. All right, there. All right, I'm going to use the same torus. I'm going to duplicate it, Control D, move it up, and then I'm going to flatten it some more because I want it to make the bottom lip. Now you can't really see that, so I'm going to move that forward. And I'm going to make that one, there it is, and then move it up, forward again with the arrow key. And maybe down a little bit. Okay. I think the angle needs to be a little bit different. There it is. Alrighty then. I know it looks weird right now. It looks really weird. So right now, this is another torus. So I'm going to duplicate this one, move it up, and move it forward. And I'm just moving it down a little bit. I know. I think I want the cheeks to be a little bit fatter, but we'll work with that later. Right now, let's move this. I'm going to move it a little bit more. And now the nose. Okay, let's zoom in here. So here's the nose. And the nose is not going to be a torus, in case you're wondering. The nose is going to be a paraboloid. There it is. It's the white one. And let's just change it to green right now. And let's rotate it 90 degrees. And then let's move it straight up. Oh my goodness, that looks so funny. All right, I'm going to shrink this thing because it looks a lot like Mr. Magoo. And if you don't know who Mr. Magoo is, then you're not old. So that's great. Congratulations, you're not old. Okay, so I'm going to move that up. And now I'm going to use the arrow key to move it forward. Okay, now one thing I'm noticing right now is that the eyes are pretty close here and separated here. So I need to adjust that later. All right, I'm going to move it just a little bit more and then zoom in. Now, one thing that I did like about this nose is that it has the little holes. The holes do make it look a little more real, so that's helpful. I'm going to zoom in here. And how do you create the nose or the little holes? I'm just going to put some cylinders in there. Let me move it up and then move it closer. Again, I need to change the sides. That's just who I am. Okay, so I'm going to make this super thin. And I'm going to make this a little bit taller. I know it's kind of hard to see. Let's get a focus on this thing. Oh my goodness, this thing really looks like an alien. I need to change this now. I can't have this alien staring at me while I'm working on better. That's a little bit better. All right, back to here. We want to create a cylinder, so I'm going to hit Shift. Whoa, what? Oh, you know what? Here's a little trick to make sure that when you're, shrinking something, it's better to just go straight down, Shift, and then straight down, and you don't get those mistakes that you were seeing earlier where it was kind of, oh my goodness, I forgot about this. I'm going to hit the letter F so I can get focused on here. It was kind of moving where I wanted to, but then it would make this weird little motion that I didn't want. All right, that looks like a good angle. Let's move this up. All right, and then I want the angle. Get out of there. There you go. I want this. Oh my god, I'm going to hit the letter F so I can put that in the center. Click on that. There it is. I want it to be at that angle. Now here, what I want to do is I want to duplicate this one. Duplicate. And then use the mirror tool to make it go that way. And then I'm going to just use the arrow keys to move it. I know this thing is looking really weird right now. So I'm going to group this. And then I want to go back. I know. Okay, so now we're going to deal with these wrinkles. And the wrinkles, in case you haven't figured it out, is another torus. So I'm going to duplicate that. Torus the donut. I need to go back down. Let's go forward. Okay, so I lost the donut in case you're wondering, the torus. I'm going to duplicate it, move it up. And let's flip it. I want to go forward. Okay, there it is. So a student earlier this week was saying, Mr. Amparo, you're Baby Yoda, because I designed this already about a week ago, and I showed it to my students, and they said, the Baby Yoda does not have wrinkles. And I said, no. You need to look up and Google Grogu and see if he actually does, because if you look closely, this kid does have wrinkles or bumps all over his face. We understand because he's cute, we're okay, with overlooking that, but this is a funky looking little kid. Oh man, what did I do? There we go. I'm going to move it forward, and then I'm going to shrink it a little bit. Let's see. Here it's a little bit thicker, so I'm going to make that one thicker too. Now I'm going to move it with my arrow keys there, and now I'm going to go forward a little bit and down. All right. I'm going to move this over 1, 2, and then this one over to the left 1, 2, then to the right 1, 2, and then over here. It's a little bit better. Okay. So we have this. I'm going to not duplicate it. I am going to duplicate it, but I'm going to go backwards now. It's going to go back. I'm going to raise it up. And then move it to the right. Let's see, how does that look? I'm going to stretch this out because I want it to go farther to the right. So I'm going to click on here and make it 20. Then I'm going to move it over to the right and then back with the arrow keys to the right. All right, that's not bad. I'm going to duplicate that one too. And look, it did it for me. Isn't that nice? Very nice of them. So at this point, I'm going to select all 3 of these bumps. I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to mirror because I wanted to flip to the other side. And there I go. I'm moving it all over. Now you guys are like, this still doesn't look like Baby Yoda. I know, I know. And there we go. That's a little bit better. I'm going to move these things over a little bit more here, a little bit more there. Okay, let's look back and observe. What do we see here? Okay, so this part, I want to make it thicker. There you go, that's better. And this one, I think I want it a little bit thinner. That's better. I think I'm going to have to make this. Oh, yeah. I just made it wider. Now I'm going to use the arrow key to move it over. Okay, that's good. I don't know. It looks weird. I'm going to move it down a little bit more. Okay, it's getting there. It's getting there. Okay, now I've seen some students try to make ears because I gave my students the challenge to make their own Baby Yoda. And the ears is what really throws this off. I'm going to use two shapes for the ears. Two shapes. The first one's going to be a cone. Where is it? The purple cone. There it is. And then I'm going to rotate it. Yeah, I'm going to rotate it. And let me stretch this out to, let's make it 40. Not bad. And let's make it green while we're at it, right? Green. And now let's move it up. All right. I'm going to try to move this whole thing over so I have more space. And honestly, the ear looks like it should be longer. So I'm going to change it to 50. Okay, so I'm using at least one cone. And the other one is a cylinder. The whole cylinder, okay? H-O-L-E, whole. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this here, but I need to stretch this out. So let me go ahead and stretch this out. And then I'm going to shrink it a little bit. And here's what I want to do. Let's zoom into this thing. I want there to be a little bit part of this ear. So I'm going to move this forward. All right, so that's what I want right there. I want there to be an edge right there. And let's see what else. I also want this to be rotated a little bit. That is more than a little bit. So let me just go here above and outside the blue section. Lets me make smaller angles. Here I go by increments of, I think 15. I'm not really sure. So smaller, okay. I don't like that there's a little bit of his ear here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from this angle and then I'm going to stretch it downward. Now, when I do that, here's what happens. This part may not be perfect, so you need to be careful with that. And I think I want to do this. I'm going to make it a little bit different. Now, as you see, it changed this right here. I don't want that pointiness, so I'm going to use the arrow key to move it back. That's better. All right, let's try it. I'm going to select just these two right here. Notice I went straight down, moved it over a little bit and straight down, so select those two. And there is the ear. All right. I want to change the angle a little bit, so that's better. I'm going to move it up. But here's the thing. You got to look behind this dude because you want to see if anything's sticking out back here. Oh, nothing's sticking out. With this ear, I had, little pieces over here, a little piece over there. All right, so let's zoom out a little bit. All right, there's the ear. There is the ear. All right, I want to just stretch it out a little bit more. Oh, that's what I'm talking about right there. Do you see that? It was sticking out right there. All right, I'm going to duplicate this, and then I'm going to mirror it so that it's facing the other way. And now I'm going to drag it over here. All right, not bad. As you can see that it's starting to look like Baby Yoda. The ears do make a big difference. All right, let's go for the neck now. The neck is going to be in your shape generators. There we go. And as soon as these pop up, you're going to see that we are using the spring. Now, anytime you were looking for a specific shape that isn't part of the basics, you should go to where at least I say it is, but who knows? Maybe they moved it somewhere else. But if you get really stuck, what you should do is if you can't find the shape I'm looking for, type in the search here, open up a brand new tab, type in Tinkercad, and then the shape that I say. In this case, it would be spring, but it's already here, so you don't have to worry about it. But if you can't find it, open up a new tab and do a search for the word Tinkercad and the shape that I said to look for. That's just going to be useful information. Oh, I don't want green here. I want some sort of beige looking color. Oh, there you go. That's not bad. Okay, so I'm going to manipulate this. Let's see what I did here. All right. First of all, I don't need that many curls to go around his neck. So let's see what all these things do. Whoa, not exactly what I want. Rotations, I think I just want one. So let's rotate this here. There, now we're facing there. And I want this to be closer, and I believe one of these adjusts that part. Let's see, is it the offset? Yes, it is the offset. Now I don't want it to be perfect. Now I want to increase the size. I'm going to hit Shift and then drag that up. Alrighty then. Now over here, I'm not sure if you noticed, but I changed the angle a little bit. All right, that's not bad. I'm going to move it down just a wee bit right there. Whoa. Okay, we'll move it back. I do want the back over here to be touching this right here. And then I'm going to move this over here. And then down some. And then move it over a little bit because it looks like it's going into its neck right here. All right, that's not bad. I'm going to move it forward though. Now, I didn't give you the size for this because you can change the size. There is no perfect size for this. You just want to be able to see his face. So if you want to move it down, go ahead. If you want to move it there, hey, up to you. It is your Grogu. You want to make it a skinnier version of that part. That is fine because you want to see his face. All right. Now for the body, we're going to go again to shape generators. And this time we're going to use the extrusion. Let's change this to brown. There it is. That is not brown. Did not like that one. Let's go with this one. There you go. That's nice. All right. So I'm just going to hit Shift and then make it go, whoa, kind of long there. Oh, that's why. All right. So here's the deal. Obviously we want this, but I'm just stretching it so that it's just under the collar of the coat. But here's what I want to do. I think this is the front there. Can you see that? Yeah. You see I'm adjusting it here. I want it to be a little bit of a curve. Okay. That way there's some curvature, right? Because it shouldn't be that boxy. Now on here, all I did was to add some more texture, something. I went to my basic shapes. I got the cylinder and I stretched it out so that it looks a little bit like an indentation. I'm going to hit Shift. Now you can make this however you want. This is just the way I did it. Make this one a little bit skinnier. And let's just make this go right. Essentially, I think it's just faster if I do this. I'm going to click here and then just put 1 by 1. That's nice. So I'm going to rotate it. That way it looks like it's the front coat opening up a little bit. I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to click the letter F. You can click this one here instead. Not touching it yet. So I'm going to go forward. Looks like this needs to be bent a little bit so that it's touching the bottom but not the top. So I need to rotate this. Where's the little arrow? Can you guys see that? Oh, there it is. All right. Okay, that's better. Now I'm going to push it back with the arrow. That's good. Let's test it, shall we? Let's group that. Oh, we can barely see that, so let's undo that. And I'm going to rotate. Okay, that's better. Now but it's still not exactly following the contour. I think we nailed it here. I'm going to move it with the arrow key a little bit back. Okay, now group. How did it go? I'm okay with that for now. I might adjust it later. All right, let's look at both of these guys. And I'm going to tell you right now, I was not happy with the way the arms turned out. I wanted something a little bit different. So here's what I'm going to do. You can choose to use the same extruder one and put it as an arm. I'm going to use a cylinder. Okay, I'm just telling you right now, I like the cylinder. I'm going to use it. Again, I'm going to change the sides. I'm going to rotate. Let me shrink it a little bit first. I'm going to hit shift and then shrink this. I'm going to move it up and then back to where the arm goes. I'm going to rotate this. Now, here's what I want you to do while I'm doing this, because this part's not that hard. Here's what I want my students to do. Actually, let me make this a little bit taller. Okay, the first person to reach this point with the arm, I want you to raise your hand. And when I call on you, I want you to say, the force is strong with this one. And if you say that, and you're the first person to say that in my class, I'm going to give you a reward, maybe an Among Us character that I've made already, or, yeah, let's say that. Let's give you one of those. Just so I know that someone is actually paying attention to the video, let's do that. So I'm going to do this right here. Yeah, that's fine. It's a little bit long, so I'm just going to move it up a little bit. There you go. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, and is it aligned? Yes, it's aligned. Okay, so now I'm going to maybe move it a little bit more, and then I'm going to duplicate it. Duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. Then I'm going to mirror it. And I'm going to hit shift and then drag it over here. This one over here on the right looks like it's not 100%. Okay, looks like we're good there. Now, because here I used the extrusion, I used a rounded corner here. I don't want that, so I'm going to use the donut. Oh, I'm sorry, it's called a torus, but, you know, the donut. And I'm going to use the same color as the neck. Wait, before I rotate this, let's make it a little bit thicker. There you go, that looks better. Now let's change the color to whatever that color is. Rotate it so it's similar to what is over here. Let's move that up. All right, now, I don't think it's perfectly aligned. So let's take a look. Oh no. And I think it's actually kind of big. So let me click shift and down. All right, that is not bad. Okay, so now I'm going to duplicate this and then mirror it in that direction. Now, let's just drag it over. I'm going to hit shift and then drag. I clicked on the arm. So sad. All right, now let's move it over here. All right, let's look around here. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so now the hands. I'm going to tell you right now, I cheated with the hands. Why? Because I'm a cheater. That's what I do. No, because I found some great alternatives to hands here in you know, this place where the library where you find your shapes. I'm going to type in the word claw. Enter. And it's not here. Let me use the word feet. Is it here? No, how about hand? I don't see it. So I'm just going to go do a manual search. Let me duplicate that so I can see what it looks like. All right, that's what it looks like right there. I mean, doesn't that look awesome? Doesn't it look exactly what it should be over here? So let's go ahead and look for characters, because I'm thinking this is part of somebody's body. And no, let's look for some more. I see nothing. I've clicked it 3 times already, so come on, show up. I know you can do it. Show up. Nope, I don't see it. You know what I feel like? If this feels a little bit like Blue's Clues. Do you see it? Where is it? Hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about when I say Blue's Clues. Otherwise, I feel really sad. All right. I cannot find this thing. Come on, you can do it. Oh, there it is. This is called a sheep's paw. It's a paw. Why was I calling it a claw? All right. So as you can tell, not the same thing. So I'm going to shrink this to make it more of what I want it to be. And let's make it green because it's Grogu. So I'm going to duplicate this and then I'm going to rotate it. And then drag it over here. You see that? I'm going to rotate it a little bit less. Again, right about there. Maybe a little bit more. How do you do it here? Let me zoom in here. Oh, look, it's a little bit sticking out there. And it's sticking out here. I'm just going to group that. And then I'm going to shrink it some more because it's supposed to be a hand. It shouldn't be that big. I'm going to move this up here. I can't really see that far. So I'm going to move it here, and then I'm going to rotate it. And let's rotate this down. Now, one of my students, when she made her Baby Yoda, she put a little egg, like her hand, the hand was sticking out forward, and there was a little egg in there. I thought that was really cute. Some students put a little frog in its hand. Now, you can do this too. You can do this too if you like. Whoa, I think this hand might be a little too big for this body. So let's move it over and let's move it up. Now let's look over here. I'm going to rotate it a little bit this way. I like it. In fact, I like it so much, I'm going to duplicate it. Drag this over here. And I'm going to oh, wait. Let's just do the flip thing. It's so much easier. It is. Oh, I just noticed that this donut thing is sticking out. And then we're good there. Yep. Oops, click the wrong one. That's the one I want. Let's move it this way. And let's move it up. Let's move it this way. And then up. For some reason it's separated. I don't know why. Okay, group there too. Okay, I think we are good with this one. Oh wait, there's an issue right there. But that's not the issue. Is it this one? No. What is this thing here? Oh, it's this one. There you go. Whew. Scared for a second. All right, so I moved them both. That was the issue. I don't know why. So let's move one over here. Oh, did I group it? I forgot I grouped it. Too funny. You know what? Let's just, I guess, cheating? Is that what it is? I'm going to say it's not cheating. I think this is just figuring out how to solve this. And I'm going to hit the shift button and it's over here. Okay, problem solved. Whew, problem solved. And I think we're good. Okay, so in my class, I would like, I'll just leave it like this. I think we're good. I might even just squeeze this one here, but for the most part, there we are. Now, in the comments section, please let me know which character you think I should do next. And if I pick your character for my next design, I will send you a gift card, a 3D printed character of the one that you chose, or something cool. I don't know, but please leave me in the comments what I should be doing next. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. And by the way, if you think there's something wrong or I need to change any of this, let me know. In fact, I already think I should make his head a little bit less wide. Oh, wow, I like that. I'm going to move it over a little bit, but I like the way that looked. Anyways, keep on adjusting, make it more you and what you think it should look like. Obviously, mine is not perfect. Yours may not be either, but the good thing is you did it, and you can adjust it any way you like. Don't forget to add supports when you print something like this, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed this, and have a good day.